Good morning, all of you. So today's class, we will discuss, we'll start with the viscosity. It's a very small topic. We have hardly, there are two formulas are there. The whole idea revolves around that two formulas. This one, it's similar to like a friction only. Already we have come across friction. The same between the resistive force acting between the layers of liquid is called as a viscous drag, that one. So based on that, we are going to discuss it. Today and tomorrow, I'm going to discuss. Then we'll come back to surface tension on Friday again. A few more problems I have to discuss that one. Okay, I'll begin this. Already, if you know the streamline flow and turbulent flow, some basic definitions we have made. So same thing, let me put once again. So first we'll go for what all we discuss will be streamline flow. All our syllabus revolves around the streamline flow only. That you have to keep in mind. So it's a streamline flow. What is the some I gave definitions, no, like this. There's a one very classical example of so this will be the what we'll say. What are these arrows? The velocity of the different molecules, velocity of different layers of the liquid here. Then after this, we went for one more. If this is the some point P will take here. No, now this is the liquid A or different molecules of the liquid. So they are having now different speed. Okay, let it be this one. But when they every layer, also like every layer, or if every molecule, if different molecules of the liquid, if they pass a given point with the same velocity, then it's said to be streamline flow. They may have a different speed, but they will arrive here, they must have the same speed. Suppose say this is 10 meter per second. Or need not, just like it. If different molecules, if they arrive at a point P with the same velocity, see, they may have different velocity here, but when they arrive at point P, they must have same velocity. This was the meaning of streamline flow. Now, when A passes here, so if the velocity is like this, it's a streamline. B also passes, if the velocity is towards it. C also passes velocity to same direction, and it must have same speed here. So if so what is the condition we can put? If different molecules arrive at a point with the same velocity. So there's a one basic idea of a streamlined flow. A streamlined flow is what like you can say better, it's like a ideal one. Actually what happens, a turbulent flow will take place, or better say like we have to put a condition for streamline to occur. Let me not use word ideal. Let me say that some conditions are to be satisfied. First, there's one way of putting that one. The diagrammatic representation we do show like this. There's a diagrammatic representation. Fine. This is now. Sorry, is it like they must arrive with the same speed or same velocity? Same velocity. All particles must also follow the same speed and direction at a point P. Suppose the velocity of the liquid at point P is 10 meter per second along x-axis. All the particles arriving there must have speed 10 meter and direction should be along positive x-axis. Then only it's said to be streamline flow. If the particles arrive at point P with a same speed but different direction, it will become a turbulent. Okay, so if different molecules arrive at a point with the same velocity, then it's said to be streamline flow. So now after this, we'll go for turbulent flow. So turbulent flow you can see the velocity of different molecules. They'll be in different they'll be having different directions. So then here, if different molecules arrive at a point with different velocity, it is said to be turbulent flow here. So what is the velocity of, say like a velocity of point P? Velocity of the liquid at point P should be 10 I cap meter per second. So what should be the velocity of all these particles? When they're crossing point P, don't put a condition that all the time. When they're crossing point P, should be 10 I cap meter per second at point P. Finish or are you able to get this one? Now they may have different velocity here. But when they cross point P, they must have the one fixed velocity. Then said to be streamline flow here. A good example, a good example, suppose say here, this will be very, very useful thing for you. Okay, I do have. Tell me like, what is the velocity of particle here? The best example is what I'm giving. They may ask you questions on based on this also. You have to be very careful in exams, sir. Let me push it here. No, these are the particles. We'll take it. These are nothing. So what is the velocity of the liquid here at one, and this is 2, no? So V1, if it is say like a 8 meter per second, speed of the particle at 2 will be say like a 3 meter per second. No, they are arriving. So at point 1, at point 1, so these are the velocities of the particles VA, VB, VC. Tell me like what should be the speed of the particles now? Go back to the streamline. No. At point 1, what should be the speed of particles? This will be 8 meter per second. Let me write it here. At point 2, the speed of particles should be 3 meter per second, 3 meter per second, 3 meter per second. Then only decide to be streamline flow. Are you getting no idea? Don't think that all the particles must have same velocity. But at a given point, now what is the velocity here? I don't know what will be that one. But when they arrive at point 1, they must have velocity 8. When all 3 particles, when they pass through point 2, they must have velocity 3 meter per. Then said to be streamline flow. Getting this simplest explanation is what I'm giving. In books, you have theoretical. There's a practically, there's one of the method of determining streamline flow. Okay, now the same, sir. Can you explain similarly for turbulent also what actually happens? We'll copy this. Yeah, we'll put it here. For turbulent, in turbulent flow, when they arrive, when particle 1 arrives, it may have 8. This may have 9. This may have say like a 6. Anything that one. Here it will have 3. This will be say like a 2. This will be say like a. Sir, how it is possible? That's what the turbulent. they may arrive at the same speed, but they may arrive at a different directions. Then also it is said to be turbulent. Even it can also be happen like this. Okay, all they arrive. I think I'll put directions also. What do you mean by red color arrow? Towards right. So here it may be like this. Now you see this. So there's a very classical example of what is turbulent flow. That one, all points they're arriving. So different particles what happen A, B, C, they're arriving at point one. Okay, speed is same, but look at the direction. The directions are different. Then that will be turbulent flow. At two, when they arrive, they have same speed, but what about the direction? They're different. So then it's said to be turbulent. So what we should bother even not only speed, if they're having different speed, definitely it's a turbulent. Sometimes what happens is all are having same direction again. It's a very good example is what I'm giving. So not only speed, what you should bother, even the directions also. A good example when rain comes, the water, the way how it flows on a on roads, no, it's a turbulent flow that one. Or if you take the oni, a thick oil, and if you just pour oni bottle, if you just open the lid and try to pour honey in some other bowl, something, how the honey will flow? Honey will flow gradually, that is a streamline flow. If you open tap, that what when if water coming with more force, then it's a turbulent flow. But you open tap very gradually, or so like a small opening you make it, and the water falls gradually, that will be a streamline flow. When you go for full opening, the water will rush, no, there is a turbulent, but you just give small opening, let the water fall gradually. So this is, I think, a few more examples I wanted to share you. Of course taps changed a lot. So I'm going traditional one. So if there are two taps are there, the water here, if it falls like this, then this will be a streamlined flow. Then instead what will happen, the water what will happen will rush, no, like this. If you open it full, this is turbulent. Okay, fine. These are the several examples. So they may in exam they may give diagram like this, so you have to be careful. A student opens a tap, that then he sees the flow of water in the first diagram, and next in second diagram, then they'll ask you like, which one is streamlined, turbulent? So this should be the turbulent, because you see that any definitely open, it will spread like this. This called like a turbulent here. Even rotation also you can see that one. I'm showing these arrows here. So if there are any rotation of liquid occurs, then it must be turbulent. I think this you can see naturally when streams, rivers, no, or even during rainy season, we can see water will be rotating at certain point. It's a good example of turbulent flow. Fine. So this is one basic background is what we have is set up here. Okay, let's get into we are starting now, the viscosity here now. So if you look at the liquid, different layers of liquid will take it. So this is the ground. So let the river, the flow of river water will take it. So let's go for water will have viscosity. So when I go and compare the different layers, so if you check there's a river bed, and what is this? River flowing. We know at the river bed, what is the state of the liquid? With almost will be at rest, no? And the topmost layer of the river, this is topmost layer of river. Fine. So the topmost layer of river what happen will have the maximum speed, and as you get into the as the depth increases, so then velocity of the layers of the river which is flowing will decrease, and the layer which is at the river bed, which is in contact with the ground, will be almost at rest or will be at rest here. Why the different layers are having different liquid? The reason is because of viscosity. So what is the viscosity? How you to define viscosity, like, and all? How to define viscosity, that one? So when a liquid is in motion, so layers what happen will execute a mutual resistive force on each other. And that particular resistive force is what we can call like a viscosity. So when do this viscosity will come? Only when there is a motion. When the liquid is at rest, it will not come into picture. A liquid which is in motion, the different layers will exert force on the adjacent layers, and they will try to oppose the relative motion between the layers. Just similar to the friction. So how to define viscosity now? So there'll be like a opposition to the relative motion between the layers, and that particular opposition is what we should call a force. That is called like a viscous force here. So shall we define any basic definition or just okay theoretical idea? Yes, we need some small definition. So what do you mean by viscosity? Okay, fine. Just wait. Okay, now we'll define viscosity first, then I'll come back to this one here. So it's like it is a the resistance offered by adjacent layers to oppose relative motion between them. Okay, now so it's a measure of resistance offered by the adjacent layer to oppose relative motion between them. There's a one thing. So now, so what do that viscosity will do? It will oppose relative motion between the layers, and due to that what happens, there'll be viscous drag will be there. So same thing. Now let me give a number. So there's a layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5. Now one will have velocity v1. Different layers will have and here v1, v2, v3, v4, v5. Fine. This will be now v1 greater than v2. Tell me like what is the velocity of 1 with respect to 2 will be. So V12 will be in this direction. So how the viscous drag on this layer will be, it will be opposite to this. I'll put F12. Similarly, V21 in what direction will be? V21 will be in this direction. I have to show layers, no? Okay, it'll come here. Then in what direction the F21? Opposite to that. So here F21. Similarly, V23 will be in this direction. So then how the viscous drag? F23. V32, in what direction it will be? V32 will be in this direction. Sorry, it will be. Like this we can go for. So they will exert force mutually to oppose relative motion between the layers here. Now you can see this. What is the velocity of one greater than two? So what layer two will do? Layer two will try to decrease the velocity of layer one. Layer two is having less velocity than one. So what this viscous drag will do will try to increase the velocity of layer two. So what they do, the viscous drag will act to oppose relative motion between the layers. So due to the viscous force acts to oppose relative motion between the layers. Fine. So there's a one condition what we can put here. Okay, next question comes. This viscous drag depends on what all? According to the Newton's formula, what he proposed is the viscous drag is directly proportional to area of contact. Let me put it different. Viscous drag area of contact between layers. It is directly proportional to relative velocity between layers and inversely proportional to perpendicular distance between layers. Okay, like this is what he has proposed here. So this viscous drag, the formula is what? I'll suggest like this: eta A dV by dr. What is dV dr? So we have to put all of you able to understand this one, similar to like a friction only, but here it depends on area of contact. Area of contact between the layers. And it always acts to oppose relative motion between the layers. And it's a natural property of a fluid. The different layers of a liquid or pen, they'll exert force on the adjacent layers to oppose relative motion between them. Okay, getting this one? Okay, now let's try to understand this formula once again. Okay, this is called like a velocity profile. We show so if this is having a velocity, say v plus delta v, and this is having a velocity v. And what is dr? Dr will be like this. Fine. So the area of contact. So what I'm showing is velocity profile. This will be. So then in what direction the viscous drag should act on this? So it should be F like this and the F should be like this. See. The force exerted by this layer on this layer on this one. So what is V plus dV? This layer is having more speed than this one. This layer is having a more speed than, and what is the dr? Perpendicular distance measured between layers, because I had to show that dr will be in this direction. Sir, will there be any viscous drag on these two? Yes, it will be there. So like that, we can go for all the things. So if you check the velocity profile, so what do this length of arrows will indicate the speed of the layers. And layer which is in contact with the ground will be almost at rest. It will have zero velocity. Why do that negative sign? Because it will act to oppose relative motion. What is the velocity of layer 1 with respect to layer 2 towards right? So it will act opposite to this. By velocity of layer 2 with respect to 1 will be towards left. So viscous drag will act here. Like that, I think better you imagine pages of notebook. Different pages, all pages are moving in the same direction in same direction with a different speed. Then there'll be viscous drag between each pair of a page. So still we are not able to understand. So I think this layer, some of you are getting confusion. I'll show a diagram like this. This will be a better diagram. The layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. This is having velocity V1. I'll give some very good diagram so that it will be easy for you to this one. Uh, it is having velocity V2, V3. I'll put a condition. It can happen V1 greater than V2 greater than V3. Okay, tell me like how the viscous drag I have to show on the layers. F12 should be like this. So where you have to show, you have to show it here. Is justified now? Then F2 greater, V2 greater than V1. So is it okay now? F21, F23. Similarly here. So on the layer 2, you check it. F21 and F23, both are acting. Okay, now let's take this is A, this is B, this is C. Okay, let's write F12. What is F12? Eta, area of contact, let it be same for both. Now what shall I write dV now? V1 minus V2 by A. Similarly, what is F23? You'll write it eta A. I'll bring eta. Eta is called as constant. It is for different liquids, it will be different, and for a given liquid, it will be almost, you can say, constant. Coefficient of viscosity. Now eta. What shall I write here? It should be V2 minus V3. Correct. It will be F23 will be distance between layers. It will act to oppose relative motion. V12 towards right. Bring F12 opposite to that. Okay, these are the layers I'm taking that one. So there's a layer 1. Actually, the distance between layers is A. Some of you are getting confusion, sir, how you are. Okay, I'll come once again. You can see now. What is the distance between layer 1 and layer 2? Layer 1 and layer 2. I'll give better diagram. So most of you are unable to understand anything. No. Okay, let's come. Okay, this is a layer 1. Let me show at least a thick line, the same thing. Okay, this is a layer 2. Sir, they are not in contact. Actually, they should be in contact here. That's why it's a better to show this one. In the books, they are shown thick lines, but usually this will be the method. If I show gap again, you'll get confused. Once again, I'm coming because this is what you have to understand. So this is what you call layer 1 velocity, V2, V3. Is it okay now? So let's take this one. What is the separation between them? A, this is B. Okay, let's come here. Now I'll put a condition V1 greater than V2, V3. Now V1 greater than V2. So what this layer 2 will do? Will oppose the motion. So therefore F12. Similarly, on this layer, you have to show F21 like this. So here it's a practice of showing it here. This rather than here, you just show it here. No, same thing happens here now. V2 greater than V3. So therefore there'll be viscous drag. How do it will come? It will be like this, F23. Or here you have to show it F32. So any relation, any reason for that? V12 will be in this direction. Look at here now. So therefore opposite to V12, F12 you have to look at. Now how the V21 will be like this. So opposite to that F21. Then what do we get? V23 in what direction will be? V23 will be like this. I'll show it here. Velocity of layer 2 with respect to 3, opposite to that. Similarly, V32 will be in this direction. Sorry, V32 will be in this direction. Getting the idea now? Huh? Just the viscous drag will act opposite to this. So let's come for this one. So what is F12 formula? Eta A V12 by what is the separation between them? F23 or F32. What will be that? F23 or F32 should be eta A V23 by B. So now you look at this layer. This layer, what will happen? Will experience a force due to topmost layer and also the bottom layer, the below layer. This one. So if you layer 2, what will happen? Will experience force due to this. So there's a one generalized method is what we are trying to show here. It's a similar to friction block, 3 blocks better. Only thing is that this area of contact we have brought it. Friction opposes relative motion. Similar viscous drag also opposes relative motion. Now this is called like a coefficient of viscosity. What can be unit for this? We'll search for unit for that one. Coefficient of viscosity. So F is equal to eta equal to F into dr A by dv. What can be? We know dimensions. So what can be this eta? Force will be Newton. Force will be, we'll go for dimensions. So dimensions of force will be m, l, t minus 2. dr will be L1. Area will be L square. Velocity will be L t minus 1. So what do we get? M L minus 2 t minus 1. Okay, fine. This is, so what can be, what is the unit you can suggest finally? Pascal. Pascal per second. See, or we'll do one thing. Instead of doing all this, this will be the dimensions formula of the quotient of viscosity, because I had to L minus 1, no? L minus 1, yeah. This will be the dimensions formula of the quotient of viscosity. Come for here. Now, force by area will become Pascal, no? And distance by time. Time will come, so Pascal second. So what can be unit for quotient of viscosity? It should be Pascal second here. Unit for quotient of viscosity is Pascal second. So how do we write that? Is Newton per meter square seconds will write it as, no? Newton meter, so Newton per meter square will be the force, like a pressure. Second it will come, so Newton meter square second. This will be the Pascal. This is what we'll call this is a Poiseuille. SI unit Pascal second. It is a, or you can also call it as Poiseuille. Poiseuille. There's also SI unit. So the quotient of viscosity, what happened, will express in terms of Poiseuille, that one. Rather than this, the more popular is the poise. The more popular is the poise, that one. This is the dimensions. This is a SI unit. Viscosity Pascal second or Poiseuille. Either of this one. So CGS unit is what? Poise. And all our new formulas, you can see like it is there in terms of poise only. So poise is what? 1/10 of Poiseuille. Poise is what? 1/10 of. So therefore, the Poiseuille is also called as decopoise. So what you can call this one? Poiseuille, one Poiseuille. You can call that as decopoise. Later on the numerical, okay, we'll get an idea. So these are about the units, what we can put it here. So these are viscous drag. Okay, let's take some small examples. Poiseuille, we don't have any symbol, or you can, we don't have any symbol specific, that one. We don't have any symbol. Okay, no, the biggest problem is, okay, viscosity we brought. How to check that streamline turbulent flow? There's a big headache even till date. So there should be some method, streamline turbulent. For that purpose, open, I'll bring another method called like a Reynolds number. And there are, so if when liquid is flowing, there are two forces that will be acting. One inertial force, the next another one is a turbulent force. So what are initial forces? The force which is responsible, which will make the liquid to flow, and the liquid will oppose, no? So I think I'll come out like this. If I will maintain a pressure difference, P1 and P2. Who will maintain this pressure difference? External force. So this will become inertial force, no? So this is having area A1, A2. Or we need not. Yeah, it will be like this. So here P1 A1 minus P2 A2. So this will lead to what? Inertial force. External agent should do, no, that one. You should maintain a pressure difference, liquid will flow. But as the liquid is flowing, so the different layers of liquid, they will experience what? A viscous drag. So here what do we get? Viscous drag or viscous forces. So what is this? Definitely what happened, there is some relationship between this inertial forces and the viscous drag. What are inertial forces? A force which will make the fluid to move from one point to another point. So that is what the pressure difference. Am I right? Shall I call inertial only this is justified? No? Pressure difference. So how do we can measure pressure difference? I think quite easy, no? Quite naturally, we know fluid dynamics, everything. Okay, now, so definitely there is some relation between this inertial and viscous forces here. So for that, what will happen, we'll define a Reynolds number. So what is the Reynolds number? The basic definition will go like this. Reynolds number, ratio of inertial forces to viscous forces. So this Reynolds number, I'll write RE symbol. So what is the initial forces? Mass into acceleration. What is the viscous force? So dynamic viscosity or quotient of viscosity it is called as. Velocity, then area divided by distance. That formula only F equal to eta A dV by dr, I'm writing it. Okay, let's check the dimensionally. Now, what is the mass? Mass, we can write it as rho L cube. What about the acceleration? Acceleration shall we write v square equal to 2s. So acceleration will be, I'm trying to get some quantities related here. This is the u eta, quotient of viscosity is eta. Then velocity, what you can write v, area L square, distance again is L. So when I solve all this, so what do I end up? Rho, one v get cancels. V is speed, v means velocity here, this one. Any other quantities will come, rho v, eta. Shall I say one L will end up here. So what is V? V is the speed of liquid. Let's define all these terms because this is very important. Re is what? Reynolds number. Rho is what? Density of liquid. Eta is?
Sir, L will be in the numerator, sir.
L will be the numerator. Rho V L by eta. Yeah, fine. Okay, eta is called as coefficient of viscosity. Then what we have? V is speed of the liquid. This L further what we write this L as the diameter. So this is a capital D only, let me use. Capital D only will use it. So D is what? Inner diameter of pipe. In which viscous liquid is flowing. This is very important. So now, based on this viscosity, what will happen? Based on this is called a Reynolds number. So I can now say that if Reynolds number is less than 2000, it is called like a streamline or a laminar flow. If the Reynolds number happens to be more than 4000, then it is said to be turbulent flow. and if it is between 4,000 to 2,000, so then it is said to be unstable. Means sometimes it will be streamline, sometimes it will be turbulent flow, unstable flow. Why do we need this? See, I have to check, no, like is it a streamline or turbulent flow? So that is what we put it. So usually what happens, we want laminar flow here. So this I will rewrite. So I will rewrite Reynolds number eta equal to rho d. I'll substitute here. I know what is the type of liquid I'm using. I'll always go for streamlined flow. I'll put around 1,500. Then quotient of viscosity, I know inner diameter of pipe. I know the density of liquid. With this, if I solve, no, I'll get a velocity called as critical velocity. So what is VC? VC, we'll call it as I will calculate like this. Fine. This one usually Reynolds number. Let me pick up 1,500. I know what is the type of liquid I'm using. Either I'm using honey or ghee, coconut oil, or some any denser liquid or water. I know density of liquid. I know the diameter of pipe through which that liquid is passing it. Then I'll get the critical velocity. Then what I say, streamline or turbulent, I'll put a condition. If V less than VC, streamline. If V greater than VC, it will be turbulent. Streamline, or you can call laminar flow. Both are same. So the critical velocity depends on what? You are going to choose Reynolds number. And this depends on the liquid. Am I right? And this depends on the pipe. Even the pipe matters a lot. That's why it's very important here. So what will be the diameter of pipe? The diameter of pipe will help us to check that one. Able to get this. So now what happened? It's very easy to measure the velocity of a flowing liquid. I'll check it less than or greater than. If it is less than, laminar flow, greater than critical velocity. Greater than critical velocity, turbulent flow, less than laminar flow. No, just I think it's some data which you have to remember, nothing big. Okay, now regarding the pipe, sir, like can you show in the pipe what actually happens, because you have brought diameter of pipe. Shall I continue? It's just only dimension analysis. That Reynolds number is something very, very important, because when the liquid is flowing, it will encounter two forces, one inertial force and the viscous force. Clear this one. So the ratio of that what happened will determine. So definitely you can see this here. Reynolds number, for it to be higher number, if the inertial force dominate over viscous force, it become turbulent. Clear this? If the inertial forces become dominant on viscous force, but sir, even 1,500 also dominant, if very dominant, Reynolds number, if it is greater than 4,000, means definitely the inertial force what happened is 4,000 times more than viscous drag is acting, then it will become turbulent. I think this is what happens, no? When rain comes, what happens? The adjacent water molecules will be pushing each other. Then if it 4,000 times, if the inertial force is acting on the layers, if it is 4,000 times more than viscous drag, then it will become turbulent. This is the idea. Okay, let me go to the, no, I'll show this. Okay, let's keep this data. Okay, if I take the pipe, okay, liquid is flowing through a pipe. This is only theoretical. Once you get this one, no, rest all will be very easy. It's just only formula based. Now, if you see the laminar flow of the liquid will be like this. Turbulent flow of the liquid will be so means a layer of a liquid What is this? So I think I'll bring the axis. This is the pipe, cylindrical pipe. I think I'll give a better picture. Okay, liquid is flowing, So if the layer of the liquid which is there at the axis, it is having more speed than the layer. So what is this? This is a velocity profile. So inside a pipe, when a liquid is flowing, the profile will be like this. I should bring arrows. This is called like a velocity profile. Able to understand now? So the layer of liquid which is there at the axis will have maximum velocity. And as you move, what happens? The layer of the velocity of the layers will keep on decrease, and the layer which is at the edge, what happens? It's a plane diagram. Try to understand. It's a plane diagram. The layer which is at the edge, what happen? Almost it will be at rest. This was the velocity profile. Now what will happen? If the difference between these two is more, if the velocity difference between the layer at the edge and the axis is more, it will be streamline. If it is less, it should be turbulent. So this is what streamline flow. Fine. So there's a basic condition what we can put it here, like so if the liquid and this velocity profile, do remember. So there's a pipe. What it is, well, what this diagram shows, velocity of various layers of viscous fluid flowing in pipe. Fine. So this is about the theory. So we will say goodbye to all this. This is just only theoretical information. We'll get into the application part because we have to do numericals. That too, what happens? Something mechanics related. Okay, let me start with this one. I do have, so I'll take a surface. I'll take a block. Okay, before that, no. This is the layer. I'll give that one. Now, what is this? This is the, so this is surface. I'll paste a thin layer, like a oil layer or a grease, something I'll apply it. So what is the thickness of this? Let it be D. I'll place a block, cubical block. Then I'll move with a constant speed. Then what should be the external force and the power I should apply to drag this particular block on this particular layer? So you take table, you apply some oil layer or some grease layer, then you are going to drag the block on that particular. So there's a oil layer. Or on pizza, you apply sauce and you keep some paneer cube and you are dragging it. Anything it can be, need not be always this much only. This what block everything. It can be anything, no? Tell me like how the viscous drag will act. It will be in this direction. Because the velocity of the block is towards right now. So you should oppose relative motion, so viscous drag will act here. So to move that block with a constant speed, I must apply external force, which is equal to viscous drag. What is viscous drag? Eta, area of cross section, L square. Velocity of the bottom of the cube block is V. And what is the perpendicular distance? It is D. Negative sign, why we are bringing is like in the formula to show that viscous drag will oppose relative motion. But here you don't put negative sign because we are calculating magnitude. What is the power action agent should generate? how much of power fractional into V. So eta L square Vd into V. Fine. These are simplest examples I'm giving. Sir, I will drag A. So instead of this, what happen? I will instead of oh, what happened? No. Let me bring some other body. So here, let me bring a disk. Circular disk, let me drag it. Tell me like a, how much of actional force I should apply. So what is the circular disk here? No, will appear. What actional force I should apply. Then F actional equal to eta. What is area? Pi r square. Velocity is V. Viscous drag will act like this into D. Able to understand no? The area of contact. Very easy formula, sir. You need not to bother anything very big here. Able to understand this one? Okay, let me introduce to the other problems. Okay, this is the oil layer. I had to show thick, no? Let it be. This is some oil layer. I'm showing it. Some rough diagram. So let the dimensions of the block, let it be L, B. Now what is the conditions? How do you write it now? So here, the moment I release, weight M2G will act. Then the tension T, here the tension T will act. And the viscous drag should act in this direction. At an instant of time, let V be the velocity. Then acceleration of this should be equal to acceleration of this. Then what are the equations of motion? M2G minus T equal to M2A. T minus viscous drag should be equal to M1A. So what is the viscous drag? We write eta. Area is what? L into B. Small l, I'll take it. Velocity is V. What is the thickness of this? Let it be D. Oil layer of thickness D is formed on the table. Then on that, I'll place a block and I'll connect to a pulley and connect it to block here. This is the condition. So this should be equal to D, no? So eta LBV D. So let me substitute here. This will be eta LBV D equal to M1A. I'll add up these two. M2G eta LBVD is equal to M1 plus M2 into A. What is A? A is dV by dt. Get ready for all mass-based problems. What is A? A will become dV by dt. Agree this one? So this will become, I want expression for velocity. So let me simplify for this. So this will be m2g by m1 plus m2 minus eta lbv d m1 plus m2. Let me let me take this alpha, this is beta v dv by dt. What is alpha? m2g by m1 plus m2g. What is beta? All that parameters, eta lb d m1 plus m2. So this equation will end up at t equals 0. Let me release from rest. At an instant of time, this will be. So then what is the mathematics here? No, minus 1 by beta log of this negative sign, send on this side. Okay, no. So this is the, so just mathematics. Huh? The viscosity idea is very simple here. The continuity, I'll show like this. Huh? It'll be easy for you. We are. Okay, no. No. So what is the next thing you can write? Send log on that side. So alpha minus beta v by alpha equal to e to power of minus beta. So this will become alpha into v is equal to alpha by beta. So this expression for the velocity of the block or velocity of the blocks at any time t. You have to bring your mathematics into picture because the force viscous drag is a function of velocity. So then this will be the equation. So viscous drag depends on what? Area of contact. That's what is trying to bring it here. If it were a friction, no, friction what happen will be constant magnitude independent of area of contact. Here the viscous drag depends upon the speed, relative speed. Any of the questions, so it depends upon. So now in the viscosity chapter, what you have to give priority? What is that area of contact? It's something very important. And what is the distance d? The distance between the bottom of this particular block and the thickness of layer. I think the plane diagram, it will appear like this. Some of you are still getting confusion. This is what that layer. Able to understand now? At least this will be much easier. So what is the thickness? Will be D. So here tension. The viscous drag should act here. They may give plane diagram or they may give 3D diagram. Shall I slide down? Now after this, if I want to drag a cylinder through a liquid, I have to drag a cylinder through a liquid here. Now, this is filled up in a a container, a vessel, how much of force will apply on this cylinder? So let the cylinder is of height h, radius r. There's everything is, there's a viscous oil or honey or any other thing. There's a container. Let me show that. This everything is the viscous layer. Also viscous liquid. And I'm going to drag the cylinder. Tell me like how much of power I should exert on the rope, on the cylinder to drag up with constant velocity. Able to understand now? Small diagrams. Huh? No. So what is the force, the tension force, what I apply, the tension will act here. How the viscous drag, where do it act? Everywhere on the curved surface. Is it okay, fine? This is, so then I had to move with a constant velocity. So what is the external power should be equal to F external into V. What is F external should be equal to viscous drag into V. Now what is the viscous drag? Eta, surface area 2 pi R L, velocity V into this is V. What shall I write? What shall I write perpendicular distance here? That perpendicular distance should be R by 2. I am just giving some information. So what is this vessel? This vessel, what happen will have how much of uh, the radius of this? 3R by 2. Then at what distance the surface of cylinder will be the surface of the, from the inner wall of the vessel will be at a distance R by 2 or 3R by 2? R by 2 it will be. So therefore this has to be written R by 2. Able to understand? See, if you are getting confusion, take help of diagram. Nothing is there. It will be like this. No? Then how the cylinder will be like this. Tell me like what can be this distance? R by 2. So you look at the every point of the cylinder, surface of cylinder will be at a distance R by 2 from the vessel. This is the vessel. This is the cylinder. I think we have to be a little bit careful. Huh? And this is a liquid. Fine. So do make observation to plane diagrams, 3D diagrams. You can better analyze it. Okay, now let's take the, after this, I'll go for Stokes' law. Let me introduce one more topic called as Stokes' law. So what you have to give priority here afterwards, area of contact of the solid with the viscous liquid, and that perpendicular distance has to be noted down. Fine. Like this, what's happening here? The different shaped bodies, what when you drag through a liquid, viscous liquid, what the area of contact matters a lot. See, earlier it was very simple. What I brought it, you can see that one. What is the area of contact? Square area. Here, pi r square. Here, L square. Now here, LB. For cylinder, what happened? Surface area of a cylinder. That has to be substituted. So what is this quantity? This is the surface area of a cylinder. What is 2 pi RL? 2 pi RL So definitely it's not that easier. We should be very careful about like where all the liquid is in contact with the surface of a solid. That surface area has to be kept in the formula here. Eta A dV. And what is this R by 2? Perpendicular distance of the solid surface with the vessel have to be calculated, that one. So different problems, what happen, the distance R by 2, this 2 pi RL, based on the body, based on the situations, it will be different. Okay, let's go for, let me introduce one more. Stokes law. We'll discuss on this also. Like this. So what, now I'll give one, we'll have a small discussion. What is that? So this is a cylindrical container. I'm going to drop, I'm going to pull a, so there's a string. I'm asking you to pull this with a constant speed. So what is this? This is like a spear. There's a vessel kept on ground. There's everywhere liquid is present here. So what is inside? Inside is a viscous oil. Okay, now I'll ask question. So now, what is the external force I should pull up? So there's a string. Okay, let me put everything in clear now. Anybody, can you tell it? Okay, eta, no problem. What is the area there? Sir, what is the area? Area of a surface of a sphere, how much? 4 pi r square. What is the velocity v? So what is the viscous drag? As in fact, viscous drag and weight will act. So what is the external force I should apply? Viscous drag plus mg. What is the viscous drag? Eta 4 pi r square v. Till here, no problem. But what to write here? What shall I write? You look at this layer will be at a certain distance. What about this layer, certain distance, this layer? The different layers here will be at different distance. No, that to happen, you should assume a ring here. This particular ring, elemental ring, will be at some distance. This particular elemental ring will be at distance. So what's happening? The different points of a sphere are at different distance from the wall of a vessel. So what to write in the denominator? You have to ask a best question to yourself. So what is the biggest problem here? So shall I put like 1, 2? What is the distance of 0.1 from the wall of a vessel and 0.2? So they are different, no? So what shall I write? I don't have anything. This has to be question mark. It's not some quantity. We don't know this. This has to be determined. So it's like this, what happened? Different shaped objects, when you drag through a viscous liquid, what is the biggest headache for you? Sometimes area you cannot find out. Sometimes this will be problematic. This will be problematic. And the next, we don't know this. Able to understand? We don't know this. We are not very sure. So it's not that easier, this chapter. If you're trying to drag the different shaped objects through a viscous liquid, no, sometimes the area or sometimes this one will be very problematic here. So to overcome for spherical body, so what is telling is a Stokes law is brought here. This particular thing is what I'm going to address. Weight of the cylinder. Okay, you want weight of the cylinder. Huh? It can be lightweight or because I wanted to, okay, light cylinder, I'll put it. Even buoyancy will come.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll introduce Alma so that you should not get confused. Now, let me introduce all. This is about the, Only viscous drag will calculate it. So what is the external power? Now F external should be equal to I'll bring everything now. So T plus FB is equal to FV plus mg. Viscous drag we know 2 pi eta RL V by this R will get cancelled out. There's a viscous drag, then weight of the cylinder. This is mg, there's no problem. Now what is the buoyant force? Density of the liquid rho L. So this is what the tension is nothing but F external. So what is the power now? I'll include that also. Most of the cases, the buoyant force, all the weight will also be negligible. We'll be focusing more on this. But anyway, like it depends on the numerical. Let's not generalize anything. If you ask us to neglect buoyant force, we'll neglect. If you ask us to neglect weight, well, if it doesn't say anything, we should consider all. So what is the external power? Multiply this quantity with V. That is what you should pull up here. So we are very good in buoyancy and weight. The biggest problem is the viscous drag. So here, this is what happens here. So here also what you have to bring? Minus FB. So FB, there is no problem. Am I right? Rho L. I'll bring everything because. Yeah. Okay, now Stokes' law, what happened? He has proposed like this. So if you have a liquid, okay, there's a viscous liquid. I'm not giving boundary, exact boundary. This is very, very important. Let's start this one. So I'm going to drop a solid sphere. I think, yeah, this will be dominating one. I'm going to release a solid sphere of density radius r, density sigma, and there's a density of liquid. Okay, rho, let it be rho L, and quotient of viscosity eta. Release from rest here. Now, what are the forces that are acting? First, the weight will act. Gravity also you have to take it. This is what? Viscous liquid. Castor oil, oni, different things. Fine. Okay, now, what actually happens? The first weight will act. So it will get into the liquid. It will get into, so here, let me keep one thing here. You know, no. What are the various forces that will be acting on it? Mg, buoyant force, and the viscous drag also, no? And initially what happened, the weight is able to overcome the viscous drag and buoyancy. So therefore it will be in fact accelerating, and it will also possess the velocity. Now, because of acceleration, the speed will keep on increase. If speed increases, the viscous drag also will increase. And at one instant, both these two, the buoyancy and viscous drag, will balance the weight. And what will happen to this particular sphere, it is going to move with a constant speed. So here, so what is the condition? Mg, I'll put, yeah. So in between, if you check it, no, again, yeah, we are having all the total. At t equals 0, it was released here. So let's say it's a simple mathematics, laws of motion, we know it. So if you come and check it, it will have velocity v1, it will have acceleration a1, here viscous drag, and buoyant force. These are the forces that will be acting. So till here, what is the type of motion it will describe? It will describe an decreasing acceleration and increasing speed. Then afterwards, it is going to move with an uniform speed, or better say constant. And it will acquire one velocity called as V terminal. I'll show it like this. Don't think that no forces are acting. All the forces are acting, but what will happen to them? The net force will be 0, and it will continue with its uniform velocity motion, constant speed. This Vt is called as terminal speed. This is the overall motion. I'll show complete. All of you are able to see this? I think this will be sufficient. It will continue, it will move constantly with it will move uniformly with a constant speed, So why do this happens here? I'm bothered about this particular thing. I'm not bothered here. The reason for that, first, weight will act. It will accelerate. Due to acceleration, speed will increase. If speed increases, see, buoyant force and mg, they're fixed here. But viscous drag depends on what? Viscous drag depends on what? The speed of the sphere. So as the velocity, because of acceleration, as the speed keeps on increases, viscous drag will increase. So tell me what will happen to the net force. Net force will be decreasing. Therefore, I'm saying decreasing acceleration. Fine. Go back to the kinematics. If acceleration decreases, speed can increase. So increasing speed. Finally, at one instant, the viscous drag and buoyant force, what they do, they will balance the weight. And net force will be 0. And it will move with a constant speed. How long? As long as liquid is present. As long as, I'm saying as long as. I'm interested in this terminal velocity. I'm interested in this terminal velocity. So let's write this Vt, that one means finally when it attains the thing. So finally what happens when ball attains terminal velocity or moves with a constant speed. So what should be the net force? Fvt plus Fb should be equal to mg. What is Fvt? Eta, we know. Here the viscous drag according to Stokes law, 6 pi eta rv. What is small r? Small r is the diameter, the r is the radius, v is the terminal velocity. Yes, sir. Where is the vessel? No, infinite liquid. So what is this? This is as good as like a, what is the boundary here? That's why I'm not showing boundary. I'm not saying that it's a cylinder. In a cylindrical vessel, I put it. So look at this particular thing. There's no any specific boundary. So when this formula is applicable, only when this boundary is infinite. Even ocean also is a finite, no? For that, what happened? The Stokes he has proposed a law. The viscous drag acting on the spherical ball is given by 6 by eta. Don't say, sir, at what distance from this? There's a infinite liquid. So what is the, uh, I should call this as infinite boundary. Get it? For that, the Stokes has proposed this formula. We know by and force, what is the density of liquid? Rho L 4 by 3 pi r cube. What is the mass? Sigma 4 by 3 pi. Just accept it at your level. You can't go for, sir, I'll derive everything. For that you should know very good mathematics, no? If they're required, we would have taught it. Huh? Don't bother all that things. No. Okay, there's a rho L. I'm interested in this VT, no? Expression for this VT. So 6 pi eta r VT is equal to sigma minus rho L. Here one G is there. No, here, so shall we do one thing? 2 will take outside. So this will become 2 by 9. 1 pi r will also get eliminated. Look at the formula, 2 by 9. So this is expression for the terminal velocity. What will happen to this? It will continue to move, finish all. There's no doubt on this one. As long as the liquid is present, it's going to continue to move with the terminal velocity. So the terminal velocity, it is directly proportional to square of the radius. R is the radius of the sphere. Now, what is the Stokes law? This is the Stokes law. Fine, this is just a formula, very important formula. Plenty of numericals are there based on this. I'm saying the plenty. Okay, let's get expression for how the graph for this will be. Let's get the mathematical. Let's get expression for acceleration. So I'll proceed with the mathematics. It's a very simple, the Stokes law it's over, but you get plenty of numericals on this one. So let's get some mathematical part. So initially, that same thing, will release it, it will accelerate, and afterwards, it will move with a constant speed. Okay, these are some things what we know. mg, velocity, viscous drag, buoyant force. There's a viscous liquid. Afterwards, it will move with a constant speed. So same discussion. This is what? Acceleration. Fine. Okay, let's get expression for acceleration. So what is ma? Ma is equal to mg minus fv into fb, this one. So this A is equal to g minus fv by m. Further, g minus 6 pi eta rv buoyant force should be Let me write it. So this should be sigma 4 by 3 pi r cube rho 4 by 3 pi r cube g by sigma 4 by 3 pi r cube. A equal to g. This will be 9 eta capital R. 9 eta v by sigma 2 sigma r square minus. So this will be rho g by sigma. Okay, I'll do one thing. This is g. Let me call this is alpha, this is beta, and the acceleration, let me write dv by dt. So again, similarly, I'll release from rest and attention of this will be the condition. Okay, now minus 1 by beta log of, so this will be log of alpha minus beta by alpha equal to minus beta t. I'll send on log on that side, so will become e to power of minus beta t. So this will become 1 minus, or v is equal to alpha by beta. What is alpha? Alpha will be g. Let's write the final equation. What is beta? Beta is this everything. 9 eta by 2 sigma r square minus 9 eta t by 2 sigma r square. So don't get scared. Just the equation is of this form. G this eta will cancel out. So this will be sigma minus rho by 2g r square by 9 eta. Anybody, how this graph will be? Can you remember some graphical problems we did? Very beginning, no? So the mass background. How the graph will be exponentially increasing one. It will not increase linearly. The speed of it will not acquire terminal velocity by linearly. It is released from rest here. Here, release from rest at t equals 0. This is at any time t. So now how the graph will be? So if I plot the graph will be exponentially increasing graph will be of like this. So this is the expression for V, and this is the terminal velocity. Are able to understand this graph? I'll bring complete page. You can see now. It's just kinematics, huh? You know. So what is the terminal velocity? Alpha by B. Now we know it. So if you want to write it, what is VT? VT should be alpha by B. After a long time, sir, I'll take the ratio of alpha by B and check it. Yes, you'll end up with the terminal velocity only. You can see this one. So what is VT? VT should be alpha by B. So when do it will attain? practically what happened for something. So after almost here, the change will be negligible. So this is the graph what they proposed here. So what they ask you, what is the type of questions? You know, like it's a pure kinematics. Find the acceleration of the sphere. There's a sphere. Find the acceleration of sphere when the speed of the sphere is half of the terminal velocity. Tell me what you're going to do. I think this is the best expression you have. You should not forget. Or sorry, the best expression. Tell me like when the speed of the bob is, when the speed of the sphere is half of the terminal velocity. So what is the terminal velocity? You know it, half of it. That value you have to substitute. Then you'll ask you acceleration. I think you have to be very alert here, the knowing things in exam, because the content is very simple. There are only two formulas. F equal to eta a dv by dr, F equal to 6 pi eta rv. Find this one. So this will be this one. So I'll ask you further what is the distance covered by it. So what should you write? ds by dt. Again, you integrate it. They may not also, they may ask you to plot acceleration versus graph v, how the graph should be. This is a constant negative slope. So acceleration is going to decrease, no? Is it a uniform retarding motion or variable accelerated motion? Anybody? What type of motion? Before attaining terminal velocity, what is it? Variable accelerated motion. Getting the idea now? These are some graphical questions they'll ask you, or say like a v as a function of time, then acceleration as a function of speed. So any graph for this vt? Vt is called as terminal velocity. Acceleration as a function of speed. So shall we write? Shall we go for one more graph? No, initially it will be how much? Equal to g, no? And finally what will happen? V terminal. It will be zero, no? Finally acceleration should become zero. So it is equal to g, this one. So this is slope. This is what acceleration as a function of velocity or the speed of the bob. So then this is the terminal velocity. Once the velocity of the bob equal to terminal velocity, acceleration becomes zero. So any graphical questions here can be asked. Okay, these are some Stokes law we have. So like any other object we have to derive. It's not that easy. Suppose like sir, I'll move a cone. Again, we have to bring a formula. And it is moving inside the liquid. Everything is a liquid. Huh? Please keep that in mind when we discuss terminal velocity. No, so that's, and what is the boundary? There is no boundary. Sir, what is the vessel you are using? It's a vessel of infinite shape, infinite boundary. That is what, then only that Stokes law is applicable. That's why so strictly it is applicable, this one. Now, what is that viscous drag? By the liquid on the sphere, no? By the sphere on the liquid, yes, it will be there. By the sphere on the liquid also will be there. Similarly, buoyant force, what is the buoyant force? Buoyant force is what, like by the liquid on the sphere, by the sphere on the liquid also. Now what are the type of questions shall I ask you? When the sphere attains terminal velocity, find the force exerted by the sphere on the liquid. Tell me what you are going to write. You're going to say the viscous drag, and the buoyant force is what? The force exerted by the sphere on the liquid. Am I right? Cross way of asking questions. So what students will do, so like how to calculate on the liquid? No, Newton's third law, action, reaction, equal and opposite. What force the liquid will exert on the ball, the same force the ball will exert on the liquid. So what is FV and FB? Force exerted by the liquid on the ball. By the ball on the liquid, the same thing. So here somewhere I'll write it in corner, this data. Note. Objective questions, these are some troublesome. Force exerted by the liquid on the ball, or I think we took sphere. Let me use sphere. Force exerted by liquid on the sphere or by sphere on the liquid is sum of viscous drag and buoyant force. Fine. So like this, we have to calculate the same thing. In exams, what they ask, find the force exerted by the sphere on the liquid. So I think you'll be in a big trouble. So that the background Newton's third law has to be applied here. Any doubts? If you have, you can clarify it.
Sir,
Uh,
you said that Reynolds number decides the turbulent flow and laminar flow, no, sir?
No, Reynolds number not decides. The value will help us to identify terminal velocity or streamline flow. Are you getting? I think you are taking it in another way. We should check the velocity, critical velocity. If the velocity of flow is greater than critical velocity, turbulent, less than critical velocity, laminar, practically what will happen? The Reynolds number. What is the Reynolds number? Inertial forces by viscous forces.
Yes, sir. Sir, how can we decide like if it is less than 2000, it is laminar?
Practically, not on paper. That's why what happened, you do one thing, take one pipe, send different liquids and do measure. So for the certain value of Re, no, it is a laminar flow for all the liquids, for most of the liquids. And for Re more than 4000, it is a turbulent. Getting the idea?
Yes, sir.
It's about the lab. Practically, they have done this, not on paper. You are on paper world, so you can't understand.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Work out problems on viscosity today and tomorrow. Again, Friday, you can come back to surface tension, because only few, I think 5-6 problems are left over. If I do that, surface tension you can manage. Huh? Anybody still? Let me share this. There's a liquid, flowing liquid. Okay, we'll wind up the class. please work out numerical. There's no much theory, almost maximum theory I covered it. Some of you are reading theory and relaxing happily. Not possible. Unless you don't work out numericals, not possible to have a thinking brain. Thinking brain will come only by doing numericals. This is something very, very important. Please do understand. Some of you are just reading theory and you feel that, okay, concepts. In physics, there is no concept. Theory will be there. When you do numericals plenty, then clarity of concept will come. I'm making things clear. You read, some of you are asking, sir, which book is very good for concepts? Tell me, what do you mean by concept here? Numericals itself is a concept. Numericals itself is a concept. Please, you should have, I think we are almost at the end of the chapter. I think, okay, this background is there. I'll sit like this. We are almost at the end of the mechanics. So at least by this time, you should realize that just mere reading sir, shall I read Resnick and Alde? Tell me what you read, what you do with reading Resnick and Alde book. Already the teacher has explained all the ideas. Straight away, you can go for solved example, unsolved example. So what is the fun in reading again the same story? This, you come out of this one. Take solved example, enter the topic with solved example. Then come for unsolved. There's a methodology. Then you can cope up, because see, by Saturday you should write exam, no? So when you practice numericals only, you'll be comfortable in exam, not just mere reading theory. Some of you think that if you know information, you can solve problem. If that is the case, many good readers are there, no? I'll ask them to come and read. Can they solve problem? Not possible, no? So what is the best strategy now? Teacher has explained concept. So here very patiently make observation, recollect all, immediately come to the solved example, then unsolved. You can do wonders if you do this one. Okay, thank you all of you.